What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActiveMovieGuy.com. If you're a blind film critic, and today I'm doing Only Murders in the Building Season 5, Episode 8. Recap, Ladies' Night. Oh yeah. So our we have a couple guest stars notably, but they're all like people who have been in this before, like who have been around and have been doing episodes. We do get Meryl Streep back. Apparently, she's just been hanging out at the airport the whole time, which is crazy when you think about it. She never left. Her flight keeps getting delayed, which is kind of a great gag, but also they did like an entire episode without her. And I'm assuming this is like at least a day later. So Streep's just been sleeping at an airport for a day or two now. Okay. Um, but it kind of goes into the whole thing about how Zellweger's character has been buying up the building, and she's at 49%, and she just needs that one more sale to go through. So she's hosting a ladies' night and inviting all these women into the game parlor. And Mabel, through the uh, gets invited because the is invited. I don't know how the is going to take. I have to keep saying the. I know she wants it to be like Thea, but the. Um, I don't know how they're going to take losing their penthouse in this building. I don't think that's something that we've really fully explored because they just moved in and they're also like an influencer and famous. And I think that's the one bridge that Zellweger hasn't crossed. Is like everybody else is just like kind of like a normie. And then you have this person who's like charting and everything. And I would imagine it'd be like trying to kick. I don't want to say Taylor Swift because she doesn't feel like she's on Taylor Swift's level. But whose level do I want to compare the to? Uh, Sydney Sweeney. I know Sydney Sweeney doesn't record, but like big enough name that everybody like knows who they are and follows them, and the press, the paparazzi. And if you try to do something, then it's going to catch, some attention. So that kind of thing behind it, where enough people would pay attention if they wanted to make some noise about it. So we didn't go into that, but we're going to send some ladies into ladies' night. So to make it more interesting, Mabel goes in with Meryl Streep comes back. We also have Divine Joy Randolph is back. The cop was also stalled at the airport, and when she heard about this Streep brought her back, saw her there, and was like, "Oh, we want to go to ladies' night?" And she was like, "I guess. I mean, I'd love to be with my family in Cabo, but since all of the flights are canceled." And then stumbling into the lobby around the same time is Diane Weist's character, uh, the former wife of the doorman, anyway, of Lester. So they go in, and those four ladies enter ladies' night, and they have a little bit of a scheme, which is to try to get Zellweger to lose so that she opens up about her thing. They'll have kind of different plans, and they're not all on the same page, but they Weiss ends up going a little too hard and being too upset about the death of her husband, so she ends up leaving, and Mabel leaves with her, which leaves the other two there. And Randolph's officer is really good at dealing cards and knows how to deal, like which cards to deal where, and I guess spent a long time being a dealer, and for a while ends up getting away with it. And then Streep ends up selling her out so that she can get closer to Zellweger's character, because she's doing this weird sort of like accent. It's like some Eastern European accent, and she's pretending that she communes with the dead. And so she can see that there are these spirits that are attached to her. And so she earns her trust. And Zellweger tells a little bit of this backstory of things that have happened. And she was actually kind of interested in Nikki, and the original plan appears to be that she and Nikki Bobby Cannavale's character were going to do this together, but Cannavale was worried about how his wife was going to feel about it, about him turning this into a casino. But she wanted to turn the building into a casino, keep this as like a VIP lounge, and turn the whole building and make it really classy and old school. And so she's the one that tells Nikki to set it up with the other two people, with Bash and I forget what Logan Lerman's character's name is, and bring them in for that fateful night. They still aren't sure whose finger it is. Like, nobody has been able to figure that out. But so it doesn't quite look like Zellweger killed, but she also wasn't really my prediction going into it last time. I kind of thought it was going to be the two wives, that they ended up, that there ended up being something else there, that there was a there, because there were some interesting things that I had remembered. And the thing that I pulled out of this that I thought was the most interesting was that Cannavale was worried about running this by his wife, where, she seems to be kind of hands off and not really the mafia boss that she seems to be. She's trying to play it. And that's the same thing Wiest is kind of doing with her role. But if her husband really had been saving up all those years, then why is she having a hard time staying even in the house that she's in? So, because remember, he'd been working and saving up and getting all this like under the counter pay from Cannavale for all those years. And his dream was to save up enough money to move into this building. So he should have a substantial amount of money because he was kind of old. So where did it go? And I think there might be more to that kind of story. So I'm still actually looking at the wives, even though Wiest is doing a great job of diversion and really playing it off and doing a really, really nice job. There's something about it that just doesn't sit right with like, why are you poor? Like, doesn't really make sense. Even though you may not have enough money to move out, you definitely shouldn't be worried about money, about finances. But she was like selling off things when they went over to her house. So, yeah, that's my guess. But the other stuff that happens is, basically the other two just end up getting stuck in an apartment in a therapy session. It's not really their episode, although they have some good jokes, like about Steve Martin with his mom, and they asked him, like, did you ever go to a therapist? And he said no, because he told me that I only hear things I want to hear, and that I didn't pay any other attention to anything else he said because I don't want to hear it, because I didn't think anything else. Whatever, however he said it was great. It was like one of the better comic timings and deliveries. But yeah, they're basically kind of stuck in this therapy session with one of the tenants that they're actually trying to keep at the apartment, who's been there forever, and they're like, don't sell. And they try to use therapy as a way to convince him to not sell, but he has already actually done that. And when his sale goes through, Zellweger gets tipped off that she now owns 51% of the building, which means she now controls a majority of the apartments and can kind of move people out. Richard Kind keeps popping up, which is fun. He's popped up again here, so they keep kind of bringing him back, and he seems concerned about having to move. So that's where I'm at with Only Murders in the Building. I'm still intrigued by some things, and they've had weird characters, but again, I think last season was a lot of distraction. It was a lot of, and it ended up being that writer who wasn't even like the biggest cast member of the season. And I keep kind of thinking, well, who could it be? And I don't think they're going to go for that twice, because then that would be like giving it to like the new doorman and making him the killer. Even though I know who he is, it's Jermaine Fowler, right? Jermaine, that's right. I think I'm right. It just doesn't make sense why they would do that. Like, his character isn't fleshed out enough, He's as the new one there, unless he just found out that he was getting the job and losing the job in the same day. I don't know. Um, it's an odd choice. So we don't really have a character this season except they're so peripheral and we know nothing about them. There's the assistant to the mayor, which would be kind of like we're not really looking at that character because that character hasn't really said or done anything. So there are just a very few characters. I guess Taleone's kids, feel very peripheral to the season. No, I think it's with all of the stars and all of the Oscar nominees we have, and winners, actually. We have a couple winners here. Oddly, we have 3 people who have won 2 Oscars. We have 4 people who have won multiple Oscars. Meryl Streep, Diane Wiest, Christoph Waltz, and Renee Zellweger have all won multiple Oscars. So, in the same season, and you're telling me it's not going to be one of them, we have 2 murders, and not one of them is going to end up being a killer. Plus, Divine Joy Randolph has 1 Oscar beneath her. Who else am I forgetting? I think that's it. I'm probably forgetting somebody else. But yeah, this cast is stacked. Insanely high, full of nominees. So I'm still sort of between like an 8 and 8.5 this season in terms of a grade. That hasn't really changed for me. So we'll be back next time with, I think we're down to like the last 2 episodes, unless they went for like a 11, 12, 13 episode season. But we'll see. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.